All right, so now that we have our office, what we want to do is we want to make it a little bit more visually interesting. And so if we look at the original, what we have here is a few things that are a little different that kind of give it a little more heft, I think. Or we've got the bulging walls, which I'll show you how to do that. We didn't do it for this example, but I'll show you how to do that if you want to do that. And then we've got thicker walls. We've got these doors added. We've got a floor, and then we have these highlights. So let's look at what we would do to do that. So here's the original, and then I went ahead and modified it a little on here. And basically what I did was I went into this. If we go select our shape, we'll go to the shape, the drawing tools. A few things that I did is one is I just changed the line thickness. So the outer walls are, let's look at that. So the outer walls are going to be 8 points, and then the inner walls I made 5 points. So you can see they're 5 points. So the outer walls are a little thicker. And then what I did is I applied a shape, and the shape is pretty easy. Let's move this out of the way. So this right here is just a shape that I added and then sent to behind. So let me move this off screen here, and I'll show you how you would do that. So you just go ahead and grab your freeform tool. It really doesn't matter if it's lined up perfect. You just need to be on top of the current shape, and then you go ahead and fill it and then send it to the back, and then that becomes your shape, your floor. Now if you wanted to, we'll go ahead and move this one back in place. If you wanted to, you could make it let's see here. You could make it a little more interesting visually by adding a gradient fill. So this is a little darker here and a little lighter up here, so it's just a gradient fill. And then what we can do is we can add doors. So adding the doors is just using the freeform tool. Let me get out of that. We're going to zoom in a little. But adding the doors is just using the freeform tool, and you just kind of eyeball it and do that. And that's good enough for me, and I'll fill it with the shape. And then you can see there's your door. Let's turn off the thing, and then I can just copy those over. So maybe I want to do something like this where I've got the doors. And I can go in here and clean this up and actually make it straighter. But that's basically how you would add the doors. And then to add the visual, the little highlights, what I can do is I just come in here, and you can use a curve tool. So let's say we do the same thing here. We want a curved effect here. So I just go ahead and I can click over here. I can click kind of in a center place, depending on how narrow I want it, and then I can click over here, do something like this, and then it doesn't have to be perfect. What I can do is if I fill it, let's fill it with just a slightly darker color. We'll turn off the outline, and then I'm just going to bring the office shape to the top, and then you can see I've got this little outline effect. And I would just go through the entire office and do that, and that'll give you something that looks like this. So it's just a matter of playing around with it. It doesn't have to be perfect, because the more organic it looks, the better it is. And so you could put little outlines, and it's really just a way to make it seem a little bit more interesting. And then to do the rounded walls, that's pretty easy to do, and I would do that before I actually built the 3D office. So let's go ahead and create a duplicate slide. Well, let's do that. You just go ahead and create a shape. Doesn't matter what shape you have, and then you can let's turn the fill off on here. Then what you can do is you come into the shape here, you convert it to a free form. Just click on Format, and then on your shape you convert to a free form. Now at this point you can edit your points. So you can click on Edit Points. You can click on a point, and then you've got this Bezier tool, and you can work on the rounding of the walls. And an easy way to do it is just kind of figure out a halfway point, and then you click here and you kind of find the same halfway point, and then you're going to get a smoother effect there. And then you just go through there and just make it slightly rounder, so you get something like this, and then it's kind of got a bulging effect to it. And that's how easy it is.